The majority of the airport board are currently facing criminal charges for misconduct related to the airport. So governance is broken and the board cannot legitimately function until these members resign or are removed.
The future of the St. Johns County Airport Authority remains in limbo while a criminal investigation against the board continues.
Board member Jennifer Liotta says after last week's board meeting was abruptly canceled, she doesn't see how the board can continue to serve the airport.
It's a little murky. Really, I think the only way for this to get resolved is for these 3 board members to resign or be removed. Then the governor would need to appoint, in either case, an interim appointment for the remainder of the term for each of those board members. Once we have a board with a quorum of non-compromised board members, the board can actually start doing work.
Board Chairman Reba Ludlow and members Dennis Clark and Len Tucker face criminal charges for violating Florida's sunshine laws. Tucker also faces felony witness tampering charges. The trio accused of conspiring to force Liotta's company, Modern Aero, out of the airport.
I saw that Mr. Clark is just flatly denying that any of this is true, which I personally don't find credible considering the number of witnesses involved in this prosecution. It looks like a strong case to me. I hope we see some movement on this soon. I'm sure I'm frustrated and a lot of members of the community would also like to see this get resolved, but I understand this does take time for the governor to act. For example, he's going to have to pick the new people as part of that. So I understand these things don't happen overnight.
We reached out to the other board members, but have not heard back. I'm Daryl Moody reporting.
This local news is a service of your hometown Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, conveniently located off I-95 at exit 311.
This guy's going to be in prison for a long time. And that's what happens in St. Johns County and in the 7th Circuit when you come in and you engage in predatory, perverted practices like this.
State Attorney R.J. Larissa tells Liz Ryan about who's going to jail for a long time.
Joshua Blackwelder has been convicted of soliciting a child for sex. He's a criminal, but not a particularly smart one. He thought the person he was trying to take advantage of was a 14-year-old girl. It wasn't. It was an undercover detective with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. Larissa has no use for people like Blackwelder.
This guy's a disturbing example of the threats that lurk online on the internet, because this is the guy who thought he was talking to a child and was doing everything he could to arrange a meeting so he could have sex with her. Unfortunately, there are many individuals like this that are out there lurking on the internet. This time, luckily, the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office was able to nab him.
Larissa hopes that parents will hear this story, learn from it, and take action to protect their own kids from internet predators.
I think it's a wake-up call for parents to be aware of what your child's doing on the internet and be aware that while the internet's a great place, we can buy a lot of things, we can learn a lot from the internet, so there's very many positive things. You have to be aware of the dangers, and you have to protect your children, let them know what's out there, and be aware of what they're doing.
The charges he's been convicted of are serious, and he'll be behind bars for quite a while.
A lot will depend on what he scores, but the second-degree felonies are a maximum of 15 years each, and third-degree felonies are a maximum of 5 years each. So we'll be arguing for the maximum sentence. We'll see what the judge does.
His sentence will be handed down August 6th. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Liz Ryan.
The Community Redevelopment Agency is looking forward to major improvements to Cordova Street, and we'd like to receive the feedback from the public.
Jamie Perkins, Community Services Director for the City of St. Augustine. The Community Redevelopment Agency is asking for additional public input for the Cordova Street Improvement Project.
Tomorrow night, the City of St. Augustine Community Redevelopment Agency will host a public engagement meeting regarding the Cordova Street Improvement Project from 5:30 to 7 p.m. in the Alcazar Room of City Hall on King Street.
The roadway has not had any improvements in quite some time, and residents have been eagerly awaiting some investments in the Cordova Street project.
Staff and the consultant team will present opportunities and challenges, overall design principles, preliminary design ideas, and gather feedback from the public.
The consultant from Inspire Placemaking will be there, and they'll be able to provide an update on the status of the project, some of the information that we've taken into consideration thus far in the conceptual plan.
Improvements can include typical cross-sections for the corridor, streetscape furnishings, hardscape and landscape treatments with low impact to development, and green infrastructure. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
And now you're up to date with St. Augustine's Local Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.